Today's AskReddit post. Obese people of Reddit, what is something non-obese people don't understand or can't understand? Oh boy, this is gonna be a good one. Let's get started. As a former obese person, having to pull down your shirt to prevent it from lifting up, my non-obese self has well-fitting clothes, and I still subconsciously pull my shirt down. That and the glaring looks that you get when you stand in food lines at buffets or at airports. Yup, that shirt tug becomes instinctive. Get a TC tugger. As someone who was once obese, and now is just a bit overweight, holy fuck is it hard to keep it off. I still want to eat, like I did when I was heavier. When you're fat, but people like you, they will divorce your fatness from your character. But they'll still talk negatively about fat people in front of you, simply because of their fatness, and you just sort of sit there like. How it feels when the "I fit" lady says, "That's obese" in her cheery ass voice. I'm sorry but I cracked up at this. I read this as cherry first, and it made it even funnier. How much you dread people taking photos of you, because it always ruins your day to see yourself in a photo. This X a million. I recently gave some training at a work thing, and they took so many photos. I really enjoy training and feel confident in my knowledge, but not in myself. It is weird to want to do something and enjoy it, but also really dread it at the same time. I don't want to be observed, just heard, I guess. Yes, it just makes me want to fall apart when I see a picture of myself. I know who I'm in my head. But when I see what everyone else sees, it's just this ugly fat guy with thinning hair. Finding clothes that fit. Worrying if furniture would support you. Oh lord, the furniture. I'm not obese, but definitely not small. I sat down on a chair and broke it years ago. That chair was being held together by hope and a prayer, and would have probably broke if the wind blew too hard. But I was the one that broke it, so I got pointed and laughed at. Anyways, I check chairs before sitting down now. Edit. There are a lot of replies to this comment. I'm sorry we've all experienced this trauma. Fuck plastic, metal, and wood chairs. We only sit on tree stumps from now on. Also thank you for those who asked if I'm okay. I'm all good. This happened decades ago at a family gathering. After my cousins stopped laughing at me, they helped me back up. I have been heavy and light and back again several times, which takes a massive toll on the body on its own. But there you go. I have always mentally been obese. In terms of the space I think I take up in the world, even at my lightest, which was about 10 pounds north of my ideal weight, I would still check every chair to make sure it's not rickety. Still turn sideways to get between things when I didn't need to. Still eyeball things like amusement park rides and theater seats because I thought I wouldn't fit comfortably. Obesity has a huge impact on the body, but also on the mind. It's why they say things to men like, find a fat girl to have intercourse with. She'll be grateful. It's also a little bit of armor though. If anyone is going to make fun of me, it's going to be for one thing. Being fat. No other insecurities ever get picked on. I'm seen as only being one thing. So I've gotten pretty okay with people pointing it out. How you become expected to be the garbage disposal. Oh, hey, there's leftover cake from Cowhawker's birthday thing. We'll take it to Fat Cowhawker. They'll eat it, or the last donut, or whatever, and then they get all upset when we say no and are like it'll go to waste. Because I'm already fat, so what does it matter, right? Or when you do try to lose weight with diet, people always try to tempt you off it. One cake won't hurt. Or they'll get all offended when you just want to eat a salad in peace. It feels like, no matter what you eat or don't, as a fat person, someone is there to judge. The constant need to physically adjust yourself. I wear clothes that fit, but I'm still constantly adjusting my clothes, my body position, etc. just to be comfortable and for my clothes to have a chance of hiding some of what's going on here. My thin friends almost never adjust their clothes and such. just how much internalized shame we carry. If you've seen someone who was really skinny struggle with shame, with thinking that they are too fat, and feeling guilty about how they look, that same shame lives inside so many of us. And a lot of us are honestly doing the best we can with subpar healthcare and normalized stigma. I have atypical anorexia with a binge subtype and I feel this so hard. I feel shame for even thinking about food. I best myself up for eating my maintenance calories, or eating anything at all. It's miserable. How people treat you, with active disdain. People glare at you. They scoff at you. They make faces of disgust when seeing you. Random ass people feel free to honk at you and yell poop from their car when you walk alongside the road. The hatred is honestly intense. I've gotten made fun of while I was walking around my neighborhood, clearly exercising. Like, what do you people want? That meme of the dog saying back quote no take, only throw. They want back quote no exercise, only skinny. From a woman's perspective, that men don't think you are allowed to say no to them or reject them. There are a lot of men out there who think because you're fat, you're probably lonely and you should be happy with any male attention you get. When I was really big I used to have men neg me all the time. Zero respect as a human being. Lines like, you're so big. Do you want to come over later? Wow. You have a fat ass. Do you want to have intercourse? Don't you get tired of being the ugly one in your group? That guy tried to get me to do stuff in the back room of the club. So romantic. Chafing. It's particularly cruel because it makes you even more likely to avoid walking or exercise, thus ensuring you put on more weight. We know we are fat. Like, trust me, I know. Losing it is harder than it was to gain. I know I just ate, but my body is screaming that it's starving. Like, down to the life-aided nausea symptoms of not eating all day, even though I ate an hour ago. I know a lot of people think drugs like Ozempic and Wegovy are cheating, but Wegovy has literally changed everything. I can eat a healthy portion of food and be satisfied. So true. It's like you can suffer through the hunger all day, and then down 800 calories in 3 minutes during a brief moment of weakness. Sticking with it day in and out for months is really hard without support like Wegovy. Unless you're a medical professional who specialized in weight loss, there's probably nothing you can say to them about their weight that they haven't already heard or are not already well aware of. I always act shocked when somebody points out that I'm fat. Like, oh duck, really? I had no idea. Wow, you really saved me a lot of embarrassment. Thank you. Imagine if I hadn't known that. Edit. Everyone sending me messages like Don Sledgeash did can go duck themselves. Mind your business. Stay in your lane. However you need to hear it said. Shopping for clothes has definitely different criteria than skinny people. It's not, ooh, that looks pretty, but ooh, they actually sell this in 5XL. Oh, this is cute. Oh, they only have it in M. I haven't actually gone clothes shopping in a while because last time, literally nothing fit me and I had to sit there crying in the fitting room for a while. And your reward, when you finally find something that fits, is a bunch of strangers calling you ducking disgusting. That for some of us, losing weight is extremely difficult. Some medications can make you excessively hungry. Also, those of us with long-term depression and anxiety issues often use food as a source of comfort. We know it's a poor choice, but in the moment, we don't think of anything but eating something tasty. Having people patronize us actually makes things worse, not better. I totally agree. I used to use alcohol as a coping mechanism. Now it's food. I feel way more judged for being fat than I ever did as a binge drinker. But hey, at least I was thin when I was a blackout drunk. Just because we are obese doesn't mean we can't do physical activity. People don't have to act surprised that we can indeed participate. I've heard this from people when I've gone to play soccer or any other sport. I'm not the fittest guy playing, but it doesn't mean that I'm going to die if I run around for a bit. I was obese when I was in college and I took a scuba class for pen. Little did the instructor know I'd been swimming my entire life. He kept making all these comments about how some of us wouldn't be able to complete the mandatory 200-yard swim. Really pointed looks at me every time he said it. It didn't bother me because I knew I was going to blow it away. I dove in the water and easily swam 200 yards without stopping. Meanwhile, some of the skinny but out of shape or just never swam before. Swimming is hard. College freshmen ended up crying halfway through. That was legit one of the best moments of my fat kid life. Proving that judgmental instructor wrong. I hope it taught him to be less of a dick. That sometimes medicine makes you gain weight. Like my meds. I'm trying to lose the extra 40 pounds I've put on since cancer. And here I thought chemotherapy would make me skinny. After chemotherapy, when my sister was on prednisone, she gained 30 pounds so fast she has to buy clothes. She'd cry all the time about being fat, more than she did, because of the cancer, and didn't understand why the weight wouldn't come off. She was always eating healthy, even cut full meals out of her diet, and exercised as much as her energy would allow. Kept gaining weight. As soon as she stopped using prednisone, the weight melted off. That med is definitely no joke. How much advice people try to give you. Why eating an apple is so much healthier than eating a cookie, or why it's so dangerous to be overweight. I know you are worried, and I appreciate it. And I really do know these things. I'm really trying to keep up with you, but I can't run a mile every day. I can walk at my own pace and cut out the things that I can. But it's not working for me the way that it used to. Edit. Typo. It's so patronizing and condescending. I'm not fat because I don't understand basic things like calories, diet or exercise. I'm fat because eating is my coping mechanism. I don't drink alcohol, smoke or do drugs, and I don't judge those who use them to cope. But it's instantly obvious that food is my problem. My weight shows it to everyone in a way that my drinking and drug use never did. How hard it is to lose weight, especially when you struggle with depression too. I need to lose 50 kilograms badly. Certain medications to treat depression also make it hard to lose weight, especially for people with higher levels of estrogen, stress, mood stabilizers, antipsychotics. Birth control can all cause weight gain. I had mirtazapine to help me sleep, and it made me so hungry all the time. It was practically impossible for me to feel satiated, even after devouring family-sized meals. Put on like 60 plus pounds in a year. It is really easy to gain weight over time. You get a sedentary job, and you snack occasionally, and in the evening you watch TV or read a book instead of going out. So you weigh 3 pounds more than you did at this time last year. No big deal, right? Now, multiply that by 15 years or so. All of a sudden, it is your 40th birthday, and you somehow weigh 50 pounds more than you did in college. It isn't because you always eat 2 boxes of Oreos a night. You just gained a little, year after year. Also, it is a lot harder to lose weight when you are heavy. When I was 25 and thought I had gained a few pounds, I'd start jogging. Pretty soon, I'd be able to run 2 or 3 miles at a shot. And hey, problem solved. Now, I'm older and heavier, and that means I'm a lot more prone to injury. So I try to work out, and my knees start hurting again, or I aggravate an old foot injury, and it gets frustrating. There are workarounds. Of course, I can swim, and I can lift weights, but it is all harder than it was when I was young. How painful being alive is. I'm not obese anymore. Last year I was 375 lbs. I was obese then. Living is painful. People would tell me to exercise, that I'd get runner's high, that it's easy. No. Life is pain at nearly 400 lbs. Everything is so hard. I now weigh about 210 lbs. Life isn't pain anymore. I still hate exercise. But when I exercise I get tired or exhausted depending on the intensity. I don't get I want to kill myself, borderline injured. Show your obese friends some kindness. Being invisible. Also, that you are assumed guilty for anything, not just related to food, just cause you're overweight. Fat people, especially women, have a far higher guilty verdict in all US courts. Yes, I get that it's ironic that one can be invisible until someone needs to attribute blame. how inhuman you feel being obese, and how painfully aware of that you are when out in public by the up and down glances from people, the coldness, shortness, and avoidance. Also, unsolicited dieting advice / assumptions after mentioning that you're making lifestyle changes. I've researched fitness / health and read tons on obesity / metabolic dysfunction. Watched all the TED Talks and YouTube gurus. Went vegan, keto, did juicing and fasting. Got blood tests and seen doctors / specialists / dietitians. I know a lot. I'm always learning. I've lost over 100 pounds since December. Yet people will chime in. Just cut out soda. Just eat less and move more. Duh. Try keto. Try bariatric procedures. Etc. I never drank soda. Always been a hydro homie. Also seltzer and herbal tea lover. So I really hate when people assume I slurp down a pallet of 2L sodas daily. I always preferred to eat my calories, not drink them. I do eat less now and move more. My sedentary obesity stemmed from unhealed trauma throughout childhood. Bad coping habit of binge eating. Severe agoraphobia. Have spent years being housebound. Former suicide attempts and a toxic relationship. I'm well aware of what my mentality was to be so unhealthy by being so fat. I needed to face that first. And I finally have. I don't expect people to know or care to know any of that. I hated myself far more than anyone ever could anyway. A lot of people don't understand that food addiction is just like any other addiction. They treat you like you're a disgusting pig. And why can't you just stop eating? Why can't you just eat healthier? Why can't you just be better? But with an addiction, like alcohol or heroin, the goal is to completely wean you off of and then avoid the substance. You can't do that with food. You have to completely relearn how to nourish yourself and see food as fuel. People treat you better when you're thin. If you're fat and you're trying to eat healthy or work out, you still get stared at and made fun of. If you eat unhealthy, you get stared at and made fun of. You can't win. People still think it's completely okay to be mean to and make fun of fat people because it's completely their fault. Right? You see it all over Reddit. Binge eating disorder is an eating disorder just like anorexia is, but it gets much more pity and understanding than bed. You're more in danger of poor medical care when you're obese. Physicians will say lose weight in lieu of testing, diagnostics, or anything resembling medical care. Can confirm. Broken ankle was told just a sprain. It wouldn't hurt so bad if you weren't fat. Same for the other one. Same for the MCL and meniscus tears. It's exhausting trying to get appropriate medical care when the only thing they register is that I'm a fat woman. Your period will be better if you lose weight. I was so anemic by the time a competent doctor came along I had to have iron transfusions for 2 months on top of a boatload of medicine for the actual hormone problems. I have lost 180 pounds after having a gastric bypass 22 months ago. While the physical changes are awesome, the best thing is that my mind can focus on things other than my weight. I hadn't realized that the thoughts about my weight and food were a constant background chatter. Can I park close enough to the supermarket door that I can get inside without stopping? Or will the cafe have some of the chairs left that I can fit in? And so on. Asterisk ALL of the TIME asterisk. So much of that has dropped away, yet I wasn't fully aware that it was clogging my thoughts until it was gone. Like only noticing that your radiators were making a noise once the boiler goes off at night and they fall silent. I'm now at peace. I lost 205 pounds after my procedure back in 2004. Kept it off for 15 years. It comes back with a vengeance. The weight returns, and it's like hating yourself all over again. The shame is the hardest part. A back injury has me restricted in my exercise routine, and walking is no longer an option. We want to be active. 700 pounds, 2,021,340 pounds now. Congrats. That is an amazing achievement. How hot it is, even if people around you are cold. I've lost some weight the last couple of months and had to raise the temp on the AC, which was unexpected. I used to be obese. The worst thing for me was how people looked at me. I'd try to make friends and the first thing they would do is look at me in disgust. Fat people wear their pain on the outside. Lots of thin people walking around with major mental illnesses and addictions. But they aren't visible, so they are perceived as normal. We are judged so much more than anyone else with addiction because it's visible. I'm donating my body to the Mayo Clinic with a letter talking about my lifelong struggle with my weight. I hope they can dissect my brain to find the cause and treat it for future generations. I always say you can't be a closet fat person. Bro, you actually watched the whole video. I'd give you a high five if I was a human. Make sure to click the like button and subscribe for more great content. See you next time.